Hello my beautiful friends, it's Amanda here, and today we're talking about the brand new palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's the Riviera palette. The Riviera palette is part of their spring 2019 launch. They also came out with some loose highlighters as well as a dewy setting spray. I didn't pick up any of the highlighters, but I did pick up the dewy set. Everything about this just calls to me. I have dry skin, so everything dewy really appeals to me. Plus this has a coconut vanilla scent. It smells amazing and it has this beautiful sparkly glittery packaging. This is just the bottle. The product inside is not glittery at all. I used it for the first time today. It's very reminiscent of Fix Plus, not just the shape of the packaging, but it felt, performed, even smelled like Coconut Fix Plus, which I love. So I am 100% here for this, but I'm not reviewing this today. This is about the palette. This is what we're here for. This is the Riviera palette. So it's the same size and shape as their other palettes, but instead of that velvety packaging, this has sort of a canvas feel. It's a very nautical feel. It is called the Riviera palette, so it's supposed to be luxury, yachts, beach, palm trees, and I am fully getting all of those vibes from this palette. The outer packaging, the cardboard box that this palette comes in, looks just like the front of the palette itself. It does have a picture of the shades on the back, and this looks pretty true to life, so I'm glad that they did a good job rendering this photo here. This palette is priced at $45 US. It is currently available. I ordered mine when it launched on the Anastasia website, but now you can find it at other retailers, Ulta, Sephora. Under this canvas packaging, this is a heavy-duty cardboard palette. It does have a magnetic closure. There is a decent sized mirror in here. This also comes with a double-ended brush. There is a fluffy blending brush on one side and then a smaller flat packing brush on the other side. I think the Anastasia brushes are pretty good compared to other brushes that come in palettes. It's just still not competing with my favorite brushes that I use all the time, so I'm not going to use it in the tutorial today, but it is a pretty decent brush in my opinion. There are 14 eyeshadows in here, 8 of which are mattes and 6 are shimmers, and of course all the shade names are printed inside the palette next to the pans. Let's jump into the swatches of this palette now. I am going to be swatching all 14 shades on the back of my hand with no primer down first. I'll be doing both finger and brush swatches. The finger swatches will be on top and then the corresponding brush swatch will be directly below. For the brush swatches, I will be using, as always, my e.l.f. flat eyeshadow brush, and I'll clean the brush off in between each shade using the Veramona color switch. So let's get into the swatches now. Here we have the first round of swatches. This is a matte bright white called Sails. The rest of the shades are metallic. As you can see, they are very, very metallic. We have a soft bronze called Yacht, a bright blue called Seychelles, gorgeous vibrant rose metallic shade called Palermo, and this shade Seaside, it didn't originally catch my eye, but it's such a beautiful silvery blue lavender. Very interesting shade, even prettier swatched than it is in the pan. Here's the second round of swatches. I mean, these metallics, I just can't even put into words how beautiful these are. This bright metallic is called Inheritance. I am so in love with this shade. Next we have this beautiful blue called Mediterranean. Now we're moving into some matte shades. This very soft pinky peach is called Estate. Gorgeous earthy mustard matte shade. This one is Cabana. And lastly, a medium peach matte shade. This one's called Coastline. These are the last 4 shades in the palette, and these are all mattes. I do want to point out that 3 of these shades are actually pressed pigments. So this neon pink called Bahamas, as well as the last 2 shades here. So Monte Carlo is considered an eyeshadow. That's this medium warm rosy pink, and then this purple called Can and the dark brown called Palm are both pigments. So these two and Bahamas are pressed pigments. Now that you've seen all the swatches, let's jump into a quick tutorial using this Riviera palette, and then I'll wrap up all my thoughts at the end. I'm starting off by priming my eyes with my one and only favorite eye base, the MAC Paint Pot in the shade Painterly. Then I just quickly set that base with a little MAC Studio Water Weight pressed powder. That way I have a nice smooth surface to work on. I'm going to go in with the shade Estate first. This soft matte peachy shade is the perfect start for my transition shade, so I'm building that into the crease. Next, I'm taking the shade Coastline just on the exact same brush, and I'm going to add that into the crease as well, add a little bit more depth, and these shades just blend so beautifully together. Next, I'm taking Monte Carlo, a gorgeous sort of satiny feeling matte rose shade, and I'm building that onto the outer corner of my eye using a flat packing brush. This shade, like all of the shadows in this palette, is quite pigmented, so I'm just taking my time patting that onto the lid. And then I'm going to go back to soften the edges again with Coastline, just really blending these shades together. Now it's time to add some shimmer. I'm going to use the shade Palermo and just patting that on with my finger. I barely had to press onto my lid to get such an intense pink metallic. This shade looks absolutely stunning all over the lid. Again, I'm going to just blend a little bit. Now I'm using Monte Carlo so that we get a little bit more depth in the crease. And speaking of depth, we're going to add some drama to the outer part of the eye by taking a bit of the shade Palm and just tapping that right on the outer corner. And now for my favorite part of this eye look, I'm using my finger to apply Inheritance to the inner part of the eye and then just blend that out the slightest bit with a brush. For the lower lash line, I'm applying the shade Cabana. Then I just curled my lashes and added some of my CoverGirl Exhibitionist mascara to complete my eye look. I cannot believe how stunning these colors and finishes are. Certainly you could add some liner, some false lashes if you wanted to go more dramatic, but I love wearing a bold color and just doing it in a soft way. I just love this eye look so much. So first, number one thing I want to say about this palette is the bright pink pressed pigment shade called Bahamas does leave a bit of a stain behind. As you can see from my swatch hand here, that's the only one that left a stain for me. As I've said in other videos, I like to make you aware of this just in case you've never experienced staining before. It's very common with pigments, particularly red pigments, so things that are pink, red, and purple tend to be prone to staining the eye. I prime my lids with my MAC Painterly Paint Pot, and that leaves enough of a barrier between my actual skin and the pigment. So I don't typically have problems with that, but I really want to make sure that I mention that, make you aware of that. And that shade called Bahamas is the only one I've experienced any staining with. This palette is so beautiful. I love the color story. This is so bright and fun. It's definitely what I want going into spring and summer. Somehow, only Anastasia could make a neon pink look sophisticated. I don't know how they do it. I love that we are grounded with some more earthy neutral shades like Cabana, even these soft peaches. This bronze called Yacht is going to go beautifully with some of the brighter shades in here, as well as Palm, just a really useful shade. I know a lot of people were saying they wish there was a dark navy instead of that dark brown. I think I would still like that just as much too. I am a girl who loves some staple neutrals in a colorful palette, so I don't mind Palm being there. But I do see the validity of that criticism, and I think that I would really like to see a navy in here as well. I'm just happy either way, really is what I'm trying to say. These shades are so pigmented and so soft. This palette performs beautifully. The quality is on par with my other Anastasia palettes. That being said, I don't think this is a good palette for beginners or people who aren't really comfortable working with eyeshadows. In my opinion, these are very easy to work with, but that's because I know how to work with these shadows. Does that make sense? You can't just go ham and go in there. You really just need a teeny tiny bit of shadow on your brush. These blend beautifully, they layer beautifully. I have not one complaint about the formula, but with that being said, if you're not very confident in your eyeshadow application, then Anastasia probably isn't the brand for you. I'm sure you noticed from the swatches, these shades are very, very opaque. The shimmers are super bright and metallic. They're just all around gorgeous. Every single one I swatched was like taking my breath away. This shade called Inheritance that I'm wearing on my inner corners today is so beautiful that I'm at a loss for words. I can't really pick out favorites or unfavorites. I just think this is so cohesive. I love the way ABH puts their palettes together. I think they're just incredibly inspiring for me. I know there are a ton of color combinations in here. I could easily get a very neutral eye out of this if I wanted to and just punch it up with one bright color, or like today, you can just go full color if you want to. I love the versatility. I just all around think this is great. I like the outer packaging update not being that velvet that gets so dirty. I'm sure this is gonna get really dirty too, but I like the packaging. I just like it. All around, super happy with it. As soon as I saw the color story, I knew I was gonna like the colors in here. I just wanted to show you close up with my palette because I have now used it on my eyes as well as swatched every single shade, and you can see there's not like crazy fallout everywhere. There's not huge holes in the shadows. You just gotta be gentle. You don't need a lot. A little goes a long way with these. I know I keep raving about it. I love it. It's beautiful. Between this and the MAC Spring collection, I just feel like we're fully in spring, even though it's literally pouring snow outside my window right now. Now's the time when I want to hear what you think about this palette. Is it on your wish list? Which shades are your favorites? Would you have preferred a navy blue instead of a dark brown? Leave all your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, thank you so very much for watching and spending a little bit of your day here with me. I truly appreciate you, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. But someone, anyone help? No? Oh my god, it's snowing. Why? Oh my goodness. Great. Deep cleansing breath, deep cleansing breath. Man, it's really coming down out there. Staying. Oh, the shades are so freaking pretty. Just gotta do what you gotta do. That's all I can say. Wow. Okay. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm talking about. Remember when I reviewed the ColourPop Just My Luck palette and I painted my nails green to review that? Did I paint my nails blue to review this palette? Yes, I did. So extra. Get on my level. Match your nails to your palettes, okay? It makes me happy. I'm not here for the criticism. I mean, this yellow inner corner though is just everything to me. I love it so much. Yellow might be my new favorite color now because I was on a big purple kick for a while, and ever since I did the MAC Art Library palette review, I've been loving yellow, and now this yellow inner corner is just, maybe yellow is my new favorite color now. That'll be my spring color since purple was my winter color. Okay. Gotta go. Why is it snowing so much? No. Okay. See you later. Wish me luck. Bye.